Hello, everyone. Our next guest speaker is Mr. Shadi Khalloul, an IDF reserve mayor, founder of the Israeli Christian Aramaic Association, and an advocate for Israel's Aramean Christians. He secured official recognition of the Arameans as a distinct minority in Israel and promotes their language, culture, and IDF service. Today he will speak about why Aramean Christians support the Jewish state. So please give him a warm welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. So good afternoon. My name is Shadi Khalloul. I am Israeli Christian, belong to the Syriac Aramaic Maronite Church of Antioch. It's Antiochian church, founded by the apostle Peter himself, Saint Peter. As we call him in Hebrew, Shimon ben Yonah, Simon. And Jesus called him Kepha. And so that's where it comes, Petrus in Latin and Peter in English, and we belong to this church. We are indigenous Christians, native Christians to the Middle East, to the land of Israel, developed from Judaism back then. The Jews developed from Aramaic people, our people, as Israelites, and then become called part of it Jews. And then we have early Christians developed from Jews, that's we call early Messianic people, and we still testify in the land for our faith, for our identity, for our culture, and we have a lot in common with the Jewish people, same origins, same forefathers, same actually almost language, which is Aramaic and Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, almost similar, with different changed dialects, but that's who we are. And because I want you to know that these Aramaic people that called Arameans with their Aramaic language are the people who used to inhabit the Middle East, and that's why also the Jews speak this language. And the Jews are the indigenous people of this land, are not someone, as they try to tell you today, come from, I don't know, from the moon or from other planet. They are the people of the land where everything started, and we developed from them, and Islam developed only 600 or 700 years after. So to say the truth, always good, and I myself, because of these common origins, I decided to serve in the IDF. And I will tell you why. I will tell you why I defend Israel. I will tell you why I serve in the IDF, why I am still testifying for this common origins, and how it will help Israel as well, and help us as ancient community, as Aramaic people, to stay together and defend this country together. How it is important for us, this Israel is. So, because when I served in the IDF, I was 18 years old, like Anisa, and I am not obliged to serve in the IDF. But I served I grew up in Haifa. I'm sure you're aware of Haifa. And I grew up in Protestant school in Haifa, St. Luke's. Even though I'm not Protestant, but I am learning in Protestant school, and I chose to go to the IDF and defend the state of Israel. And later on, I studied in Las Vegas, Nevada. Yes, the Sin City of Las Vegas, Nevada. And I tell you, I have a great experience in Las Vegas, Nevada that brought me back to Israel through Bible course in Las Vegas as my English literature class that I wanted to take it for credit, and then I gave up my American dream and came back to Israel to develop my Aramaic dream. So, and I will tell you what I did, and so many achievements that we had since then. And when I returned, I founded an organization called Israeli Christian Aramaic Association. It's a non-profit organization, privately funded, not through any government institutions, because I want to be free. I want to talk the truth, and I don't want anyone to control my truth, which is our truth, that we speak it every day. And so I put two goals. One is preserving our Aramaic national identity, language, culture, which is also Jesus' language and identity. And Jesus spoke Aramaic, if you remember. And Hebrew was prayed in the synagogues back then. So we decided first of the goal is to do this one, and second is to integrate our community within Israel and together defend the state of Israel, the only state that allow us freedom and security and safety in the Middle East as Christian minority there. So I created a program for Christian Jewish youth in 2017, and we had until today 350 graduates. That 7-month program, studying together, learning together, volunteering together, hiking together, preparing food together, and living in the same complex for 7 months and become leaders in our society and serving and defending the state of Israel and in the IDF and in other institutions. So that's come from my background experience. But very important achievement we got, and I was in charge of, is 2014, when we had the recognition of our state of Israel, of our Aramaic identity, national identity for all Christians in the land. And this happened after meeting Benjamin Netanyahu, myself in 2013, and meeting the foreign minister of Israel today. He was interior minister, Gideon Saar, and finally Israel recognized our Aramaic identity as Christians and not being registered mistakenly as Arabs and being part of a conflict that has nothing to do with us, but rather drag us into problems and of integration within the state of Israel. Because a conflict that doesn't belong to you take you to problems and to your own community. And that's the case was for all Christians before. Why? Because in the 7th century, we will talk about it, something happened in the Middle East that people are not aware. We call it colonization. But which colonization? Is the Islamic Arab colonization to the Middle East. To remind you, the Arab conquest and Islamic conquest started from Arabia. It didn't start from any other places. And all the Levant, did you know that all the cities until today, towns, villages of the Levant, of Israel, Judea, Samaria, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq still carry Aramaic names? That's the origin, 95% of this land. That's why the Jews spoke Aramaic. That's why the Christians that developed from it spoke Aramaic. And then the Islamic conquest came and imposed Arabic language. So who are the colonizers here? Who are the ones who start imposing Arabization and Islamization on people and spread it all the way to Europe and to Andalusia, to Spain, 700 years conquering Spain? Is that not colonizers? That's colonizing, my friends. So we know those facts. We study those facts. And we as Christians, because they thought we were Arabs, we were forced to learn Islamic and Arabic history, disconnecting us from the Jews that we developed from and thinking they are our enemies, while they are our brothers and sisters there, our people that we share with them common forefathers and same origins. So when I talk about why we defend Israel, why I defend the Jewish democratic state of Israel, I have so many reasons to do so. So many reasons. One of the reasons is the origins. Second is why Israel today exists, because it's democracy. And by being democracy in the Middle East, the only one, it allows me freedom. of speech, of worship, of behavior, of being a candidate for the parliament, of leading Jews, young Jews. I give them orders, not they give me orders. I was an officer in the paratrooper, the first Christian officer in the paratrooper in 1995. I gave the Jews orders, thank you. They didn't give me orders. Those who tell you about apartheid and propaganda and lies, I invite them to come and see how many Christian and even Muslims serve in the IDF and in charge of also Jewish youth, because we have no difference. When you serve the country, you are one. If you want to decide to be against the country and work against the country, then the country, even Norway, if you work against your country, you will be punished. Israel, if you work against your country, you will be punished as well. So it's the same like any other country. We have the right to be the same like any other countries in this world. The US, if they caught a Russian spy, what they will do for them? They put him in jail. We'll jail him. And same in Norway. And if we caught a spy in Israel working for Iran or for any other Arab nation who are enemies of Israel and aiming to annihilate or to make a war against Israel, then he will be in jail. But all the other things, we have equal rights. We have law of order. We have one democratic laws for every citizen. That's why we have a Palm Sunday celebrations in Israel. And when we have a Palm Sunday celebration in Israel, you know, I grew up in Haifa. The streets of Haifa are closed because we celebrate and march the Palm Sunday in the street, and the Jews waiting for us patiently until we finish the celebrations. That's Israel. Can I do that in London today? I can't do it in London. I do it in Israel. That's the freedom we enjoy. So if you are living in a country, enjoying freedom, enjoying all the rights of this country, so it's my obligation to defend this country and keep it safe for future generation. This is my obligation as a father, as parents, to make this country even better. And instead of fighting the country, because we have some imperfections sometimes, we should actually continue to build together this country in coexistence, in understanding and knocking doors in each door we can in order to convince to do it in a different way and fix it. And that's my role. I will tell you a story. My Christian Maronite people sent a letter in 1949 to the Prime Minister of Israel, Ben Gurion. It was signed by 3 priests and signed by all the committee of the village. They were asking, we are Maronite Aramaic people. Please consider us as so. Ben Gurion, that was after a war of 1948, the independence war, he didn't even know what they are talking about. And this request was neglected until 2014. And our people went even to Supreme Court in 1992 and to the parliament, and they failed to get this recognition of Aramaic identity. But they didn't become enemies of the state. Because we are, as a Christian, are a people of hope. And we have a hope in this country. When Israel was created, we had a hope of 2,000 years to be freed again from and connected again together. And we see that in documents of our people here. I am carrying with me. So if my people wanted Israel and wanted to live in Israel, who am I today to say, no, I don't want Israel, and I won't fight against Israel? I would love to stay in Israel. 99% of my Christian population live in Israel, want to stay under Jewish democratic state of Israel, not under any other Arab regime in the region. And I can tell you these numbers because I made a research with Evelyn Gertz, which she was a master student from Iowa. And we went to different communities in the Galilee, and as a candidate for the parliament, the only Christian candidate in Israel that was asking or working and advocating for Christian needs in the country. I know so many people, so I took her and she asked them one question at the end. After asking, what's your problem in Israel? What's your needs in Israel? And people like complaining, and at the end she asked them one question. Would you prefer, after all this complaints, to bring you another Arab regime and rule this country? You stay in your home, in your village, in your town, in your land. Nobody will take you away from it. You stay where you are. But the regime will be changed to Arab regime. Would you like that? No. We want to live under Israel, a Jewish regime. That tells you everything. That all the complaints are only some tiny issues. The main thing that people are happy to live in Israel and they want to live in Israel. And so I will tell you a story. In 2014, when I got this achievement of Aramaic identity, and I met Benjamin Netanyahu, I will show you something here. Here. No. This one. That was in 2013. What I asked Benjamin Netanyahu back then in that meeting in the Prime Minister's office, to build a Christian Aramaic town for my people in Israel. To give us the opportunity to develop and to prosper and to thrive and to preserve our Aramaic national identity. And he said, first, let's recognize your national identity. So this happened after 7 years of work when I returned from Las Vegas, Nevada. Because when I was studying international business and finance, I must take a credit, another English, upper English class, so I chose to take Bible as English literature and not Shakespeare as English literature because it's easy course for me. I grew up in a Protestant school. I know the Bible, it's easy, and it would be easy credit for me. I didn't know God planning for me something else. So I took the Bible course. I was studying, and we were reading the verses, and one of the verses was Talitha Kumi. And when Jesus made this miracle with the little lady, told her, little lady, arise. I said, the instructor, he was a Catholic, he said, no, stop, this is not English, this is Aramaic. And Jesus spoke this language, and the Jews spoke this language, and unfortunately it died. I said, excuse me, instructor, it didn't die, it still exists. We still speak this language, we still pray in this language. He said, no, who you are? I said, I'm Israeli Christian. I belong to the Aramaic Syriac Maronite Church of Antioch. I said, sorry, we don't know about you, prepare a presentation next week. I ended up, like I said, oh my God, why I should just shut up and let's let it go. But I ended up deepening my knowledge about my people, about who we are, how we share with the Jews common origins, common language, who we stand in, what we need to stand for. And I came back to the classroom, I made a presentation, and after all the presentation I made half an hour, I taught them to pray in Aramaic Jesus language, and then the Aramaic, the American asking me, how we can help your people? How we can help your language? After all this persecution in the Middle East for 2,000 years or 1,400 years since Islamic conquest, what can we do for you? I said, wait. These Americans pushing me back to Israel, I want to build my American dream. That's why I'm in the USA. But they are pushing me back to Israel to build my Aramaic dream. They want to help my people. Who am I not to help my people? If they want to help, I must help them too. And my people don't know this experience because they were threatened all the time by Arab conquest. If they speak out to Western Christians about their problems, they will be terrorized and punished. So they preferred to silence and pay jizya. You know what jizya is? It's a tax protection that paid to Islamic powers as a Christian or as a Jew, and in order to survive. And that's why we ended up actually a tiny minority, while in the 7th century Middle East was a majority of Christians. Because of terror, because of brutal force that was conquering us and not allowing you to survive. So I said, okay, I am free now to act. I see what the Americans want. I want to go back home, and I established this organization. I taught youth, students with my brother, Amir, that he's also with me here, and we taught them 7 years the Aramaic language and identity and who they are and how Israel is connected to them. And we start seeing people joining the IDF because they were understanding that they are together with Israel, are one people, because Israel is good for them. And we show them the truth. Once you see the truth, you are behaving differently. And you start opening your eyes and connecting to the country. And that's our role as leaders in our society. Not giving up for the reality, the sad reality that we have there, but to change the reality with a truth. And thank God, I saw so many changes in our youth. And today, our youth that we taught them, they are in leading positions in Israel society. One of them is a pilot. It's not a pilot, what is it called? A co-pilot, like the one who sits with the pilot. Another one is in charge of all Christian soldiers to the IDF, all the Christians who want to serve. He is the one who's leading them. And others are in other units that I can tell you all are open for them. And that's something that make you like, wow, this process didn't exist before. And now it exists. Now I see people connecting. Now we have a future. The state of Israel saw this process. I approached Benjamin Netanyahu. He was so happy. That's why I approached him. That's why he accepted meeting me too. Because he saw us as leaders bringing change to the society. And for Israel, for all Christian and Jews, and even non-Jews can learn from us. Non-Jews like Muslims can learn from this model and join this model, because this peaceful model that we're leading can open eyes for others that we don't need violence. We don't need to fight it. We can build alliance like these Christian Aramaic people did with the Jews, and they are achieving many things peacefully. So we can be a model for Arabs to join as well. And that's the vision, actually, at the end. We are agents of change and peace in this country. And thank God we achieved the recognition. Afterward, I can tell you that based on what is written there, I came here after 2 meetings with the Prime Minister's office to allocate the land for building the town. And when I return back, I have another meeting, 3rd meeting in the Prime Minister's office to actually take a government decision so there's no return back. And you can understand, when you have a government decision, any government that comes after, they will not change it. It will just go forward and implement the plan of building now a Christian Aramaic town in Galilee and show this model of peace to the entire world. And even if Arabs want to join, are welcome also to learn from us, and we will help them as well toward peace with the Jews in this model. If they want to keep fighting, it's their problem. It's not our problem anymore. So it has a strategic national security impact for Israel, inside Israel, outside Israel, and show how the Jews are very open-minded when you are peaceful and want to live together in coexistence with them, and showing also the Christians in the world that this is the country that you are attacking, not you, but other Christians that we know, and we're hearing a lot of now Christians in the right side and the left side of the spectrum attacking Israel. We need to show them different models. And that's the power of this. And even Jews in the world will take this model and show it to the other communities that they live among them, to show how great this country is. And let me tell you that this country is the only country that when our people as a Maronite in Lebanon in 1975 were slaughtered by Arafat, PLO, and by Islamic jihadist people who joined him during the Lebanese First War, 1975 to 1990, who came to save us? Israel. Israel saved the Christians of Lebanon. In 1982, 1978, they intervened. They sent their sons, sacrificed their sons to save the Christians from annihilation in Lebanon. I born in 1976. I was in 1982, 6 years old. And when this war was going on, I was hearing in the news that Christian forces in Lebanon defending themselves from these terrorists are joining the IDF in their battles to fight against this terrorism that we call it jihadi Islamic terrorism. So it stuck in my mind. Who saved my people? Israel. And when I became 18 years old, I was very, very proud to serve in the IDF together with Jews and defend Israel back. But let me tell you, I discovered something very interesting. These files, maybe it's here too. By the way, this is the program that I have. Where is it? This one. No. Here. This one is the program that I have for Christian and Jews in the Galilee. And as you see here, they go 7 months in the land, everywhere in Israel, learning about every aspect of the society, about different communities. They become leaders for our communities and society, and defending Israel together. That's the dream, that one of the things that I did. But let me show you. Oh, sorry if it's here or not. Oh, here. Look at this. That's from the Zionist archives. What's this? No. Here. That's from the Zionist archives. And UNSCOP. UNSCOP is United Nations Special Committee on Palestine. Do you know, and nobody knows, of course, that Christians of Lebanon in 1947 gave recommendation for the establishment of a Jewish homeland in Israel. And they gave recommendation to the United Nations to create a Christian homeland in Lebanon, and both will live in peace. That's why the Arabs in the region didn't like neither us and neither the Jews. And that's why they attacked them in Lebanon later on. Attacked the Christians, because they wanted to prevent this peace. Okay? That's something that people don't know, and it's here in the Zionist archives that is in Jerusalem. And in 1937, we have a speech talking about in section 21 or page 91, Maronite Jew Zionism. It wasn't a bad word, Zionism, as they try to present it today. It was the creation of a Jewish homeland for persecuted Jews in the world. They deserve one country in the world. And we deserve one country in this Middle East. Not all should be Arab countries. So in this speech of the patriarch, the head of the church in Beirut synagogue, he is speaking about our common roots, and he's speaking about our identity, about our Aramaic identity and the common roots that we share with the Jews. And they invite the Jews to come, persecuted Jews from Europe, Nazi Europe or Germany, he said that, Nazi Germany, and from Arab world to come and stay with them in the Lebanon. We smuggled Jews during the Holocaust to Lebanon. We brought them to Lebanon, and from Lebanon we spread them in the region into through the Jewish Agency. That was the collaboration. And if I know these facts, and I belong to these people, shall I continue the heritage of my forefathers, or I shall be enemy for Israel? Why should be enemy for Israel? What wrong the Jews did for me? Nothing. They brought for me Jesus. Okay, some of them denied Jesus, but some of them accepted Jesus. But those who accepted Jesus, actually, us at the beginning, and we are called today Christians in this region. So there are many reasons. One, religious, social, equality, rights in Israel, saving my people from annihilation. All this happened in this region with 77 years of Israeli existence. So indeed, I will encourage others to protect Israel and defend Israel and continue be with Israel and be proud of being Israeli, while some of the Jews today are afraid to even say, I am Israeli. I'm not afraid to say I'm Israeli. And I'm proud Israeli. And I go everywhere and I say I'm Israeli, yes. It's the only place where I can live freely and enjoy life. Yes, there are imperfections. Many will tell you, oh, but they are doing this and they are spitting here and spitting. Yes, they spit in a priest in Jerusalem. But when you spit in a priest in Jerusalem, my friends, it is a very tiny minority of Jews, fanatic Jews, that also we have also in every nation there are fanatics. And those are caught and put in jail. While in Arab countries, my friends, the Muslim side go and suicide in churches, and they got praised, and they encourage others to do more of that. And nobody caught them. That's the difference between being in Israel and living as a Christian while living in Arab countries. Do you know that 10 years ago, Iraq had 1.5 million Christians? Today, there are only 150,000 Christians. In Syria, 2 million Christians. Today, we have only 500,000 Christians. Lebanon has 1.3 to 1.5 million Christians, while 8 to 10 million living in diaspora. Egypt, 20% Coptic, and they are, you heard about the suicide bombing. Every Christmas they are attacked and they suicide bomb in churches, and they harass them. They take their ladies and rape their ladies and kidnap their ladies, and nobody knows where they are, the ladies. In Bethlehem, right? Bethlehem, under Palestinian Authority. Until Oslo, we are in Norway. Until Oslo Agreement, my dear friends, the Christians were a majority in Bethlehem, under Israel control. Since 1995, or Oslo Agreement, and handing this city to Palestinian Authority, bringing Arafat from Tunisia to lead Judea and Samaria, a national homeland of Jewish people, too, Christians of Bethlehem became a minority of almost 10%, even less. Under Palestinian Authority, we were 80% before. And I hear so many stories because when I was a candidate for the parliament, they send me messages from Bethlehem Christians who fear, and maybe they find hope in Shadi now becoming a member of parliament in Israel. They tell me, Shadi, please represent us too. Talk about us. We have a lot of oppression from our neighbors. We cannot go anymore to the Church of Nativity to pray in a Christmas Eve. We go with my family and sorry, I should speak, I hate to speak in this language, but Muslim neighbors tell them, youth, start harassing their women and their daughters. And what they would do, if they react, they will have now a problem with, instead of going to pray. So many Christians, even stores, I have a story from like 2 months ago, a store of souvenir in Bethlehem for a Christian. He had 3 daughters and one boy, one son. They came to him and asked him, people from Hebron, Muslims from Hebron who moved to Bethlehem, you will sell your store to us? He said, no, I don't want to sell my store. He said, no, you must sell your store. We want to buy your store. He said, but I don't want to sell you my store. He said, I don't want to sell my store. They caught his daughter, raped his daughter, older daughter. And they told her, go to your father after releasing her and tell him who raped you. She did that, and he went to them and asking them, why did you do that? Because the authorities would do nothing, zero, with those gangs. Mafia style. He said, they told him, look, you want to sell your store or not? Because you have another 2 daughters and 1 boy. Said, okay, I don't want to sell my store. And what they did for him, they sent him back naked home. And when he went home, he decided to close the store, not sell it, and migrate from Bethlehem. What they did after knowing that he closed the store and left to USA, they broke the store and they are using it without any permit. Did the Palestinian Authority did anything? No, zero. That's how you live under Arab regime as a Christian or as a Jew. You want to make the Jew living this way? No. The Jew has the right also to defend himself. He has the Holocaust already. He knows as a minority living among the nations what can happen for him. And he has the right now to defend himself. And the Christians, unfortunately, cannot do so because they don't have the power there in that region. So they need to appease and continue to appease the other side and also pay lip service. So if I know all these facts, I will defend the state of Israel and keep it democratic so I enjoy this safety in Israel. Only in Israel, the ladies in Israel can walk in the street and nobody talk anything against them. If someone harass them, they will go and complain and they will be caught and put in jail. That's order of law of democracy. That's Israel. When you have a security forces, a strong one, when you have police forces, you can enjoy freedom in this democracy, not in Arab Islamic world. So that's why, my friends, many of my community understand those basic facts and would prefer to defend the state of Israel and be living side by side with the Jews And hopefully we will be finally the model for peace and change in this region by creating this coexistence model. Thank you. I know you might have questions because you hear a lot of news about Israel. But Israel, as I want to talk about geopolitics a little bit with you. Israel in geopolitics, I live in the border with Lebanon. That's where I live. It's called Jeish Gush Khalav. And when October 7 started, and those atrocities and genocidal actions of Hamas, Islamic jihadi group Hamas, who has in his basic principles the annihilation of the state of Israel. It's written in Arabic, and I know Arabic. I know Aramaic, I know Arabic, I know Hebrew fluently. I know also a little bit English. I hope I will know Norwegian one day. But I read what they have. You cannot read that in Arabic. I read it in Arabic. They don't want a Palestinian state, my friends. This is not the cause. Their cause is Islamic state with its capital is Jerusalem. And this state is only the beginning before continuing as the same process in Europe. Going to Spain, going to Rome, conquering Rome, the symbol of Western civilization and Europe. So I read that. So when October 7 started, I couldn't believe my eyes. I couldn't believe that our IDF, strong force, is failing against those people. Because we didn't have the courage to fire on those terrorists, because we don't know who are civilians and who are terrorists. But both are infiltrating the borders. And maybe among them we have Israeli civilians now. So how we can fire on them? And we ended up with 1,200 people almost being slaughtered in 1 day, 1.5 days. Imagine if it lasted more. But what I knew as a person living in the border with Lebanon, that now the turn for us will come. And Hezbollah, another Islamic Shia proxy of Iran, will attack from the north. They attacked on October 8, and they start attacking on October 8, and I knew that there is a great scenario here that we were talking about it always, which is, we call it unification of fronts. One front Iran, we call it. So I prepared myself for the worst because it's coming from the north now. Luckily, they have miscalculation and they didn't wage the plan of occupation of the Galilee. Because if they would, I don't think I will be with you today here. And my community won't exist. And all Jews in the northern front won't exist. And they would take all the way down to Haifa. And 200 to 300,000 terrorists from Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan will be able to penetrate. It's not like Gaza, isolated place. It's open front. That's a huge, huge threat and danger for the existence of Israel. So I sent my family to Norway. Because I have a brother married to Norwegian, so we said, go, I will stay here. So they left to Haifa, they bought tickets, they managed to buy tickets and left to Norway for 1.5 months. That was the situation for us also as Christians. And we were hoping that the IDF will be able to defend the borders. And they start attacking for 1 year. And I saw things that I never saw before from the Christian community of Israel. Calls, how we can join the IDF, how we can protect the country together with the Jews. We want this country to be protected. All of a sudden, they felt people who never served or never thought to serve in the IDF, in our ages, not like youth and 18 years old. I'm talking about people 30, 40, 50 years old, calling one to join and serve and defend the state of Israel because they know this is now a test for the state. And very, very hard, difficult test. If we don't defend this state, it might fall. And if it falls, we will end up under Islamic Arab regimes, like having the same destiny like other Christians in Arab countries, with the suffer, with persecution, with oppression. So I was sure, since that incident happened, that my people really want to live under the state, Jewish democratic state of Israel. And thank God, we ended up now, after 2 years, winning all this, 7 fronts. I know it's a hard time while winning in the ground, but losing the media, and that's another topic. But when you have oil and money, you are able to buy a lot of media sources in the world and push your propaganda. So we need to work on it when things calm down, hopefully. But for now, I thank God I am a Christian living in Israel. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have a few questions from the audience. One question I have is, how do you think is so that those of us living in the West don't hear much about you guys, the minorities of Israel, and that Israel is also a shelter for the minorities?
You don't hear about us a lot because of many reasons, but the main one is that terrorizing our people by our neighbors. And if I speak like that in Israel, I'm telling you, I will be punished or try to be threatened. And I was threatened. I have a grenade thrown in my home in 2015 for being a candidate for the parliament with the Jewish Zionist party. So many Christians don't have the courage that I do have. And they live in a mixed towns today with Muslims. And they are in the front line if something happens. So they prefer to be silent. The majority prefer to be silent and not speaking about what I am telling you. But those courageous people like us, and I served in the IDF, gave me the courage to speak out and expose the truth to you in the West. That's one thing, terror. Second thing, that you don't know a lot about us, so you don't invite us to speak a lot, so you don't know. And so once I am invited, I go everywhere. I was in USA, I was in Switzerland, I was in Italy, I was in Germany, in Holland. Everywhere I am asked to go, I will go and expose the truth. And I speak it, because if you speak the truth, it will set you free. It's very simple. That's not my words, by the way. You know, right? So, main reason is terror, and the Christians are terrified from this fear of what the other side will do for them, the Muslim side, if they show solidarity with the Jewish people.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for... That's all we had time for. So thank you so much. Give him a warm applause for... Thank you.
Thank you. I invite you to come to Israel, and I want to thank Conrad and MIFF, you call it? MIFF or MIFF?
Right.
So I want to thank you for bringing me here to speak to you, because it's really an honor for me. Very honor. I was surprised with the audience too, so thank you for coming.